the Levels podcast. I'm Justin Horo, joined as always by the Triple OG, Willie Mason. Actually, Willie Maihana, which we'll get to a little bit later on the show with a YouTube question. As well as, Mace, I have gone through the notes. Shout out to my guy, Tommy Costigan from SEN. We did the crunch time yesterday with Jimmy and the Missile. And we've got the run home. So over the last couple of weeks, myself and you have been breaking down schedules. Yeah, potentially we talked about the Sharks, Raiders and Eels last week. Them missing out. All three of those teams, LLL. Yeah. So straight off the bat, I feel like we're heading in the right direction with that, but I've got some numbers to back it up this time. Right. And I've got a little bit of jam for you as well off the back of that. And let's get straight to our friends, our partners, the Tab, the Bets Friends channel. Put a couple of bets up on the weekend. So you remember my bet, Manly head-to-head into Tommy Dearden in the first 60 minutes.
Shut up, you got that?
Nah, he broke through and then passed it to my son, Petahiku.
That's right.
So he pretty much ran around the entire Cowboys team except for who was playing fullback for him? King Tracker. Yeah. Then he finds Petahiku. And I guarantee, actually, Gutho's a good defender.
That's respect to Gutho. Because he doesn't make mistakes. Or he hits it down. He's always disrupting.
Yeah, but there's a part of me that thinks that stocky little number 6 for the Cowboys, if Peta wasn't there and you give him the opportunity with all that space, because remember, he was heading on the out. Yeah. He could have come off the right, done a little goosey, kept on going. And then, or you know,
just
get a little bumpers, but
right play.
Just
it was
fell
a right
short,
play, wasn't it?
Just fell short. But I did have that in our Bets Friends channel on the Tab app, so make sure you get on there. Follow me over the weekend. Some Anytime Jam. I did really well in my Anytime Jam in the girls. Vani Polite straight away.
You've got to listen, people. You've got to listen.
Zali Faye scored 2. Tiana Penatani scored the second. I knew in my heart of hearts, no way the Broncos were going to let Taran Aiken score. Not against their old team. And the other one I missed, which was surprising, was Tamika Upton for the Knights. Yeah. Got the win. They were pretty convincing against. Yeah, she normally carves. Normally pretty convincingly against the Dragons. But not to be. But keep focusing on me. I'm gonna watch the girls tomorrow. I'll have all the info for the girls game going into our preview, breaking down the following games rather than doing.
How many wins did you get? Out of just like the wins and losses, who you back? Did you get them all?
All of them except for the Tigers game.
Okay.
Yeah, the Tigers beat the Eels quite comfortably. Noddy did a great job. Yeah, so Bo Vetti Welsh, the fullback from the Tigers, had come from Parramatta from the year before. Great performance by them. Brett Kamali, the new coach. Kezi Apps, who I know watches our show and follows our content. Shout out to Kezi. She was at the Dragons last year. New South Wales captain. Australian captain. What else have we got, mate? We'll review, obviously, all the rounds. We've got the YouTube questions that are pumping at the moment. We've both got our Body Science Dogs of the Week for round 21. But apart from that, before we get into the show, Mace, I'm wearing a hat.
Yes.
I'm wearing some merch. I'm wearing some Levels merch. So this is our first sample. Lukey set up levelsnetwork.com.au, and that's going to be our email list. So what that will give you is 24 hours early access to the subscriber list, so be sure to subscribe. Go on there, so whenever we have future events, particularly the back end of the season, finals, grand finals, when the merch is coming out, you'll be the first to know. You can jump on board and get behind us. A lot of people have been asking for this for a while, Mace, to get behind us and support us. Cool. I like it.
Lukey's been doing some good shit.
Yep.
Always does.
What about you, mate? How was the weekend?
Quiet, man. Just footy. Non-stop footy and sport. That was good. It's just family time. It's that time of year. The weather's not that good to go out.
Yeah, it's a bit wet, wasn't it?
There's not that much going on. Just trying to get through these last couple of games, and then, once the footy season's over, it's pretty much my year's over. Obviously, concentrate on the podcast and everything, but when it comes to footy and stuff like that, it's be done in 5 weeks.
Yeah, we'll get some guests going.
Quick. Yeah, obviously we'll keep doing that, but it's same mentality when I was playing, right? As soon as you finish, your year's finished, right?
Yeah, true.
If you make the semis, if you make the grand final, if you don't make the semis, it ends early. So that's my life at the moment.
Give everyone a little update. We've got our our guy, Vintage Jackson. He's on the 1s and 2s. Producer Jacko's back.
He's back.
He's looking for a gig. he was asking if he could host this in the middle. No, he's doing great work at the Warriors. He's organised a lot for us already, Mace. So we just actually found out from him pre-show that it's actually going to be Old Boys Day for that game. So my dad most likely will be over there, as well as a few of the OGs that reached out or jumped into our comments. Ex-teammate of ours, Louis Anderson.
Yeah, the great Louis Anderson.
Louis Anderson will
Beetham,
hopefully he'll be there. Monty Beetham.
Famuina.
Yeah, some good lads.
Yeah, it'd be good, man. Bring back some memories. That's some good battles at that ground.
Yeah.
Proper battles.
Early 2000s, like the years they went to the grand
shit
final, you went to
there.
the grand final.
Ooh.
Some good teams, weren't there?
Yeah, some really good teams. And just aggressive, you know, like I remember playing, regardless of like if we were coming first or second, they were coming last, like it was just on.
But like during those years, they were pretty competitive, right?
Oh, they were, yeah. There's only a couple of times, I think, when they weren't in the top 8. But regardless of where we were on the ladder at that time, we're still dominant teams. Yeah. It didn't matter. Like, you know, from the first time I ever played it at, I think it was called Ericsson. That was when, that was in 2000.
Ericsson
like, where Big Joe Vungana was like the front rower, and Terry Hermanson and fucking John Simon was a 7. And, like, it was just
John Simon.
Yeah, I think he was. Like, they just had a massive side.
That would have been 2 to 3 years after Dad finished.
Yeah, like Logan. Yeah, but they just had these hard people in the team, man. Like, we got pumped. It was Ricky Stewart's last game. I remember he did his knee.
Yeah, that's right. He finished at the Dogs, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bradley Clyde and him both come up from Canberra.
I think it was my 6th game ever playing. I was just like, it was just the drums and everything. It was so intimidating. That was really intimidating for a young kid. First time I went back to New Zealand since I left there when I was like in 85. So like going back there, it was like, yeah, it was always intimidating going playing there. Yeah, it was always a big moment for me.
We'll get to my notes a little bit later on. It's becoming intimidating again with all the work that they're putting in there for sure. So we'll get to that. Just want to thank. We had a few people reach out, some really nice offers from, in particular, some podcasts that are over there. We're going to do the podcast obviously with the Warriors. We have got some corporate stuff to do on the night in and around the stadium to thank the Warriors for hosting us. We're also going to go fishing Saturday morning.
Yeah, that'd be mad.
That'll be sick. So we're going to go look and work. A company reached out to us. They've got an Instagram page called Unreal Hire. Time permitting, boys. They're going to take us out looking for...
Not too far.
They've got a 9-metre boat. He goes, this is the exact message. Hey, boys, time permitting on the Kiwi Adventure. Let us know and we can try tee up taking you lads out on Unreal. 9-metre extreme throwing, 700 horsepower of the best. So he knows our language and everything. Can trying to go for some bluefin or some tuna or whatever. A few pics on our page from our fishing to give you an idea. As it's a 9-metre boat, life jackets aren't needed, so the triple OG is safe. We are based in Auckland.
I can swim, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah. He's putting you in the, all the Islanders can't do swimming.
I'm half cast, bro.
How does he finish off? We are based in Auckland and can fish out of there or the Coromandel. I think we're going to be fishing out of Auckland, so be nice and early.
That'd be mad.
Yeah.
We've got to do that. We've got to do it.
So we've got to make sure we stay away from all the OGs on the Friday night.
That's going to be the hardest thing for me.
We're going to have to do the
find out where I am.
I reckon if as long as we put a curfew
if Nigel Bungan is not going, bro, I'll be good.
Nigel will be there.
Nigel will be there, I know.
Nigel will probably be there.
Monty, all the boys, it'll be, and I'm not going to dodge that for fishing. Yeah. I'll go to both. You know me.
Yeah, we'll get the job done.
Get the tough carry, mate.
We'll find a way. Yeah. Get out of there by midnight. That's still a good night with the OGs. We've got that. Then we've obviously got the golf with the Warriors episode, and I'm working really hard to try and get an episode in with the All Blacks just before they head over to London and get involved for the World Cup. So still working on that, but pretty busy. It's going to be a jam-packed 4 to 5 days, but looking forward to it. As always, we want everyone to jump on board. If you're new to the show, like and subscribe. We're at 13,400 YouTube subscribers, Mace. We're growing. For anyone that's new or just watching for the first time, we want 20K. We're trying to get to 20K, gradually to about 400 to 500 per week. So
the numbers... a few after the New Zealand trip, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon
we'll bounce to about 18.
Yeah, I reckon we got at least 400 New Zealand or Kiwi fans after that post that Lukey put on our Instagram, 3 or 4 days ago now.
It's good.
It goes pretty viral stuff in New Zealand pretty quickly. Hey? Yeah. They all get behind it.
I love this sport,
I reckon man. Lukey mentioned this as well because I've said for a while now, like we've got to be mindful of the influence and the audience we have in New Zealand because we're able to have a look at the numbers. So Lukey actually broke down the numbers. It's not necessarily about the numbers. It's they're the loudest, right?
Oh, right.
So whenever anything like Warriors, if the Warriors down in the dumps, they'll let you know and they'll rip into their team. But when they're traveling, they also fucking let you know. So
they're in your face, non-stop. And all up in the comments. Anything that when we said the wires of the Warriors, that still goes on. Yeah, I still cop it.
That's just on non-stop. Keeps on ticking over.
I'm in conversations with about fucking 20 people. Probably more.
If you're listening to Apple, Spotify, make sure you give us a review, give us the 5 stars. All that really helps. And we're continuing to build the show. Yeah. Helping us build the show is our friends, our partners, Body Science. Mace, we've got some new bars, brother.
Nice.
You want to give these a try? Have you had to try these ones before?
No, I'm fasting at the moment.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. I'm going 72 hours.
All right, Lukey doesn't like it when we snack on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it separately. Lukey, apologies. I'm going to snack on this now. Then we can edit in a little bit.
It'll hurt your little ears, Lukey.
No, he reckons because when we talk about, just say when we clip it up, when we do, when we clip up the stuff for Instagram and we're like, I'm chewing on the opposite side.
He's a perfectionist.
So here we go. We've got the low carb, dark chockberry protein bars, the world's first side-by-side dual flavor protein bar. These 30-gram bars are the perfect snack at under 110 calories per bar. Oh, shit, that's all right. Getting after a city marathon. Packed with flavor and protein. Available in a 7-bar value pack. Your week snack assorted. Love at first bite? We think so.
Go and get it. Get it.
BSC protein bars are currently available in Woolworths Chemist Warehouse, online at bodyscience.com.au and in independent supplement retailers.
This is why he doesn't like it.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to
try. It takes ages to eat.
Yeah, it takes a while to eat, doesn't it? I'm going to have one more, I promise, and then we're done. That's some good stuff.
You run any kilometres on the weekend?
20.
Quick question. 20?
Yeah, 20 is the best, yeah.
Holy shit. You getting quicker?
No, but that's a good thing. We can talk about this stuff.
I was sorry when you spit it out. Have you got like a
I ran 20K.
Have you got a, where was it? You always put it up on the level.
Yeah, so
thing, but
I started from our place, Little Bay. Instead of going like cutting through.
Sorry, is it a 20 kilometre like just a different track the whole time, or do you run the thing the same time 5 times or something?
Oh yeah, no. This is I don't like to run around in circles.
Yeah, I was just go for the 20.
So I ran all the way up Anzac Parade to Centennial Park.
Yeah. That's exactly what I did.
Looped around, come back, went past my house, and then finished off exactly 20K.
Yeah.
So my splits were, I think 5:25 per kilometre. So pretty good pace, pretty consistent. It's just a matter of trying to pull it back a little bit too and not go too hard, because when I got to like 15K, I was feeling pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, fuck, I sort of want this. You know, I've said this before. I want it to be over because I don't have any headphones in that.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, so I just fucking...
Crazy bastard.
I've got to find a way to wear headphones because, you know, when I put the cordless ones in, they always fall out of my ears. So I got a massive head, but I must have... big ears. I must have big earlobes. So
you'll figure it out.
Yeah, I need to get them because
you get the proper ones because they're not running ones.
I'm getting
you can get proper running ones that are just, even if they fall out,
they
hook in.
Yeah, that's what I need to get.
So that's what you need to get.
I need to get the Anthony Griffins. All right, let's get to the YouTube questions, eh? I played a Challenge Cup with. Oh, this is off the back of the best that never was. One of the best players that you sort of never eventuated into first grade from last week, mate. I played a Challenge Cup game with Billy Noweney for the Dublin City Exiles back in February.
Wow.
So he's still
playing.
Yeah, he's still getting after it. The man is. Would he be your age? He's older than me.
He'd be in between. I think he'd be 3
years
older.
In between us. Yeah.
Because I got 6 years on you.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think he'd be like 39, 40.
The man is an absolute wizard to play outside of. Have also had the pleasure of being carved up by him in touch plenty of times. I'd imagine he would have been a fucking gun back in New Zealand. He's some talent. Love the podcast, boys. Keep it up. Yeah. Monty Akpan, 5244.
He was that dude, man. Ask anyone who...
I watched some of his highlights.
Still synonymous when we go, like, just say Bobcat and Ogre at training and we just sort of, we joke about Billy Noweney, how fucking good he was.
Yeah.
That's the sort of, impact he had. Like, if you think of, that question...
If you see a young player that comes up, he's got
that Billy Noweney sort of shit. You know what I mean? And how much he used to carve up in games. You know, we used to play a heap of games. And, you know how good he would be, just say offside touch and all those little...
Con games.
Just fuck you up. It wouldn't be that good on the con. Just to get the games, if it was just those basic candlestick games and stuff it was just fuck, he's just too quick.
Yeah.
Steps off both feet. It's god damn.
Someone sent me YouTube highlights of him and it was pretty decent. Yeah. But I do remember obviously playing in the middle, like he was like a hooker. Remember I said he's like a hooker, half or whatever? He sort of struggled to find a spot, but you could see there, sometimes like a strength can become a weakness, right? He stepped around and like went past so much that he would like... he would legitimately beat 6 people, but I was watching, I was going, fuck, he must be tired at the end of all that. Rather than someone who's just maybe straight up and down or a little break, off the right foot once, go cut through.
You can't have that many moves if you're coming out from 9, right? And especially if I want the ball and just say, if I want you to get to B, don't take about 7 steps to get there.
Yeah.
Just get there as efficient as you can. So he's had so much talent. He would have seen so much in league game. You know what I mean? It's hard to put him at 9 right in the middle there. We had to get him a little bit wider. We didn't know what position he was. 9, 7, 6 or fullback. So sometimes he played fullback so we could have that fucking room.
He well, if he's playing union now, he probably would have been a gun 9 rugby player, right?
Yeah. So
then you don't get that creative step as much.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, you just couldn't put it on.
You need more space that league would provide. Yep. All right, another question. Jared Warrea hard drive was one of your best, Scope, laugh out loud. And Uncle Widdamoo wanting the club fields named after him, giggle. Question time. What were your fellas' welcome to the league moment? Things that happened early on that made you think, fuck, it's not up there, the level. Could be getting smashed or stepped or goosey. Cheers, boys, love your work. P.S. Uncle Widdamoo, your last name will be Maihana when you're in New Zealand. Hongi. He's giving you a hongi too at the end too.
Nice.
OG. Abe Bay. He's messaged us before, Abe Bay. He's had a couple of good ones. So any welcome to NRL moments for you? Like, I remember you told the story about Gordy welcoming you to Origin.
That was in 2004. That's in the rep arena.
Yeah, that's rep arena.
You know what I mean? That's not a welcome to like I'm talking 2000, 2001 when I hit the scene.
Anyone check you?
Nah.
No. You checking anyone?
I was I think when they were coming in, I was checking a lot. Because I wanted to be that dude, you know what I mean? But I think me coming up, it was pretty hard. I mean, like a lot of these guys
You're a big boy, big body.
Yeah, a lot of the guys were sort of out probably in their like late 20s, 30s. So that would have been fucking old back then. You know what I mean? So, and I remember I think Matt Rua retired for about 1 or 2 years. And remember he fucking was a mad hitter, 99. 99
OG.
And I was thinking, fuck, fine, when I hit the scene, I've got to go against Matty Rua.
Yeah.
And then he fucked off for about 3 years. I was like, yes! Then he come back and then I was the man, so I was sweet.
Yeah. So anyone else like that? Like when you're coming through the grade, you're like, just as like a young kid, a bit not
some
scared,
guys from
but
down in Melbourne, right? They were crazy. Danny Williams, fucking nuts. Matty Rua,
Told a Nickel,
fucking Ben Rorty.
Yep.
They had these real OG dudes down there that were just trying to get at you. Quinton Pongia tried to get at me massive when I was a young dude. But I had mad respect for all the guys that done it before me. So I wasn't out there talking shit. I was just doing it like with my ability, right? I wasn't doing anything. I was just like, I couldn't wait to get in that place where I could fucking talk shit and get in your face to the young kid coming up. Yeah. But me coming up, I was just doing my thing, and I wasn't really disrespectful or anything like that, especially to the older guys. I wasn't patting them on the head like you see these little disrespectful pieces of shit now. It's like, don't fuck. I'm all about that. Like, just do your thing. Don't fucking, if a guy drops a ball, pat him on the back of the head and like, you know, I just don't like. I think it happened with Gal a couple of years ago. Someone tried to go at him when tapping him on the back of the head.
Yeah,
I fucking forget. It was just really disrespectful. Like Gal's like a proper vet.
Yeah,
and you know, a young kid played 2 or 3 games, and you think you can do that. Yeah, so I think I was just one of those young kids. Just did it with my talking was my playing.
What point did you get to the point where you're like, all right, I want to start putting on a few kids now and then let them know?
Probably when I was 22. Wasn't that? I didn't take that long.
Anyone in particular?
Oh, Toddy Carney. I went to Todd Carney. Like
you picked on Toddy?
Yeah. Well, I was an edge back row, so I was like, my job was to go at like the 3-man or the halves or anyone in the middle. I could attack just anyone really. Yeah. You know, we just go at most people. And Toddy's. Yeah, I petrified Toddy for a couple of years. He was fucking poor Toddy.
How was he? Like,
he was just shook.
Yeah,
he's like, fuck, because like Toddy told me, he goes, man, fuck, you're my favourite player. I don't give a fuck, mate. Because we did an interview about it, and he goes, and I didn't know that was his debut, and I was just like at him. And I think about 2003,
right? 17,
yeah,
18.
2003 against Canberra, and we were just going. It was like fucking Sonny Bill, myself, just going at him all the time. He was, he goes, I didn't know what to do, and he goes, you just kept in my face like all the time. So you don't belong out here, you little fucking piece of shit. He had a little frosty tips and stuff like that in his hair. I think I terrorised a few players.
He was,
nothing too.
Toddy was my age, so he was playing. This is like, this is how much sometimes you got to remember.
He's a baby, man.
How much of a baby he was. Me and Toddy the same age.
Yeah.
He debuted in 2003. I was 2010.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, he's a baby. 17, 18, they would have ripped him out from school.
Fuck. Yeah, he would have been playing
Love
at Goulburn,
Toddy.
down in
Love
Goulburn somewhere.
Toddy, yeah.
Love the Pikey. What a career. So there you go. Evening, fellas. A question for both of you. If you were in charge of a Super League team, what would you do to improve the standard based on your two's experience playing over there? Had the pleasure of speaking with Mace a few times when he was over in the UK. In my past life as a footy manager, through Paulie Aiton. Great show, fellas. Cheers, Brett. All the way from the UK, Mace.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's always the...
Oh, shout out to the quadruple OG. Sean Kenny Dowell. So
Yes.
you know, so for the people that don't know, the triple, obviously the OG is the respect thing, but if you've not seen the Friday movies, OG, triple, quadruple OG, triple OG, Sean Kenny Dowell, me and him were like big fans of the Friday franchise.
Yeah.
They've just gone to the final for the
Challenge Cup.
for the Challenge Cup for Hull KR. He's
well
pretty
done.
much been a big reason why they've completely turned that club around.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where I'll go. Recruitment, like recruitment for the Super League is crucial. And I know a lot of the other, like the bigger teams, generally get the guys that they're going. But if I was in charge of Wakefield, Castleford, what are some other teams like Hull KR, Hull OC at the moment? Because the big clubs, and they've always been big. St Helens, Wigan, Leeds. Now you've got Catalan Dragons who are doing well off the back of Steve McNamara being over there. And his recruitment. So I'd be, obviously you want to address the coach, but I'd be really big on getting a really good recruitment manager over there. And I'd be here 4-5 times a year.
Yep.
So I'd be coming and trying to find those guys that are quite haven't made it, maybe hit the scene, like the Brody Crofts of the world, right? Who for whatever reason, sort of just didn't happen for them in the NRL to begin their career. Maybe they had a little pressure on them. Identifying those kids and trying to get them to your club.
That's exactly what I was like. That's exactly what you do. You don't try and get the big superstars. You don't get the Greg Inglis's and stuff like that at the back end of their career. Yeah, it's good for jersey sales and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you got to get those guys like the Brody Crofts that
25,
are sort of like 23,
26.
24,
Yep.
might have about 3 or 4 years in them. You know what I mean? And carve up and then come back to the NRL. That's the plan for a lot of these halves now, because they get thrown into the fucking deep end so quick now. Even like a Blake Austin and Blake Green and all these guys went over there. They killed it.
Greeny had a great career.
Blake Green
back.
was killing it over there, man. Then he had the opportunity to come back again because he was so good.
Yeah. He had won 2 trophies with Wigan. He started off at Hull KR, I believe. Then Wigan signed him. And then he won 2 trophies there. Then he come back to Melbourne. Went to Manly. Every club he went to, they got better.
Aiden Caesar over there now. Now he's coming back to, I think, maybe to the Tigers. But he's like, he was at that stage too. He's like 26, 27, not too old, not in his 30s. So recruitment is key. And you don't try and get the big superstars. You got to get the guys that are like in a perfect system, in really good systems. Penrith's, Melbourne's, Brisbane's, Roosters, really good system. Can't really find a way. Probably got about 50 to 100 games under their belt, and then they would kill it over there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. As I said, you're not going to get like Jason Taumalolo and all these other blokes to go over there at this time.
Yep.
They'll wait to right at the back end of their career.
I tell you what, because Skiddy is just finishing up. And
Skids could have probably held on and gone to another club here.
Yeah, but he'd love the Roosters
and he's
too
like,
much.
yeah, we went to Newcastle for a bit. And
he did too.
As soon as he had the opportunity to go, he's like, well, I'm only 30. Because Skiddy's been around for a minute.
Well, now they're getting Peta to fill his spot. Peta Hiku.
He will kill it.
Yeah, Peta
Hiku.
Yeah, 31, 32. But still plenty of good footy left.
Yeah,
and
recruitment. A lot in the Polynesians as well.
Yes.
Got to go after that. It's not like it was 20 years ago when there wasn't many. Now it's like 60%.
I think there's a rule around a certain amount of games you play now that makes it a little bit harder.
No, there's a heap.
Yeah.
So you got to play at least like 80% or 90% of the games.
Yeah. In 2 years?
In 2
years.
To get like a gig. Yeah. So you got to be on. You can't like be just an average player with good talent and then go. Like you got to be performing at that time.
A great example. Warrington just picked up Lachlan Fitzgibbon. He'll kill it over there.
Yeah, kill it.
Yeah.
Absolutely kill it.
Yeah. He's what 29, 30?
Yeah. No, I don't even think that. I don't even think that.
Yeah.
But I'll be looking at a lot of the Warriors recruitment at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all about connections.
The New Zealand Warriors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got some nice young players in around that team, but I reckon NRL teams will be looking at him as
Always
well.
looking
What
at
is he? How
Melbourne.
old is he? He is 29. Bang.
Perfect age. You can save 5 years over there because I always tell these a lot of young kids at the Bulldogs, I'm like, yeah, have a decent dig here, right? But it says make sure you go overseas.
Yeah, have a crack.
Get
some experience. Get some
don't sit
games
here
in.
and just play NRL and just sit on the east coast of Australia and not travel.
You know who was who went over there and has had a mad career is the PNG back rower that was at the Bulldogs, Reece Martin.
Oh, he's killing it.
Yeah,
So guys like that, you know, you've got to. It's all in the recruitment, right? You know they've got talent. They know that you've got everything like that, but they might struggle with the week in, week out.
Consistency.
Like the consistency that the NRL
Kenny Edwards?
that the NRL demands from you. You
Yep.
cannot play more than 2 or 3 bad games, otherwise you're going to get dropped. So you got to get these guys that he's got talent. I mean, over there you're not playing every single week. It's like a fucking Origin like it is here. Over there, like you're going to play against the big dogs, and then you're going to get a couple of challenge cups, and you're going to pump them.
Get a couple of rest.
You're going to be if you're in a decent side as well, you can sort of have it not games off, but you don't really have to be at your peak fucking all the time. So, I know it is all recruitment. That's all it is.
You know, it has to be that peak every time. Our body science dogs of the week. So, Mace, round 21.
Yep.
Who stood out? Who was your body science dog of the week?
Yeah, there was some good hitters out there. I think you've got one of them for the Broncos.
Yep.
As I said, I go by the game usually. You know, I was gonna tip someone out of that Broncos game because I thought it was one of the hardest, and someone out of the Cowboys, but no one really like stood out that much. And then I look at JWH for the Roosters. They had to win, right? Regardless if the Titans aren't if they had Tino there, then it puts their pack up there. But he went at him and that young bull Mo Fodawaker. He was going at him, man, and he started the game. Got 16 hit ups, 210 meters, 37 tackles, 2 misses. But it's just his impact on the games that he's still having now.
Post contact at his age,
bro.
Robbo said after the game,
that was a different level, man.
Yeah, Robbo said after the game, it's the easiest and hardest position on the field to play front row.
Yeah,
he's got a very simple game, but not everyone wants to do it. Not everyone wants to be that dog week in, week out. And he's been doing it year in, year out.
14 years now, 14, 15 years.
I've been heavily critical of their senior playing group for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Teddy, Hargraves. Teddy was close to my dog of the week.
Teddy was up there, yeah.
Teddy was very close. But I've gone the Wonder Boy. I went that game. I thought it was super impressive what the Broncos did against the Rabbitohs. And even more so, even though he had a little spell on the wing at stages as well, sent Cobbo to fullback.
Yeah, Walshy did.
Yeah. Come back, 3-week layoff.
Can you do that? It's probably
We
a combination to do anyway.
Yeah, they've just got the luxury of it.
It's just they're both guns. Cobbs, just go there, man.
There'd be a part of you
having that
there would legitimately be a part of you that would go, Walshy's one of, if not the best fullback in the game this year. And then he swaps with Cobbo and you went, I don't like that either.
No,
like you're on kick chase going,
no, that's a different.
Why is he fullback now?
That's a different level because Cobbo's massive, and he's got the mad bumper.
Yeah,
and you got to put like a full effort into him. Walsh, Walsh try and burn you with some speed, and you know you got to get a little legs tackle there. But yeah, man, he's on another level.
He is fucking on another level.
Walsh. You know, I mean, you know the rule when if you got suspended ever. Couldn't win the Dally M. Is that out?
I think so. I think if you get
Can you
suspended
check on
for
that,
2
Lukey?
games,
I think that's
Lukey.
bullshit. I think they've scrapped that because of players that they missed out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Who's the? Was it Cleary that missed out for the TikTok that year?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Got the thumbs up there from Vintage Jacko. He's fucking back. He's doing his best work for us.
Taking over already.
Well, speaking of taking over, let me get back to my body science dog of the week because you took over mine for a little bit there, AG. Walshy, 14 carries, 208 metres, 32 post contact, 4 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, 2 line break assists, 1 try and 1 try assist. And I'm telling you,
that's a stat sheet.
In a way, even like a couple of little of those passes or breaks, moments that led to breaks from that. Here we go, Lukey's got it. He was just outstanding. He's a dog. Yeah. I'm glad we changed the
format.
The format because he wouldn't have made it at the start.
It's too pretty.
He would have, if we were going the PVD role, like Nico Hines would have missed out. The Reece Walshes of the world would have missed out. So any player who's suspended for 2 or more matches in any one season immediately becomes ineligible.
Damn, he's done.
He's done.
That's what they did to him as well. The refs, they will get him for 3 so he can't win the Dally M.
Well, 2 would have got it done anyway.
Oh, was it 2, was it?
Yeah, 2.
2 or more? Is it that?
2, so 2 for 2 or more matches. So 2 gets the job done.
Well, you only deserve 1.
He did only deserve 1.
Yeah.
But they wanted to check him. He said that too.
Shout out to J-Dub, because there was a lot of big performers in round 22.
Yeah. There was some really good players.
So even like, because I said, like, I'll pick it on who you're playing too. But like, I know big Mo Fodawaker went at him.
Yeah, he was dominant.
Yeah,
he was
he's
dominant.
good, man.
Even though the Titans were a lesser opponent, he was dominant.
You just seen everyone's fucking face when the Aaron Clark scored.
What was doing Aaron Clark?
Yeah, but like, I know, but like Hargraves, he's just an antagonising fucking guy. He didn't do anything. Yeah. Aaron Clark, he scored the try and then he looked over and Hargraves is here, and he couldn't, because I watched it in real time. Like, I was thinking, Aaron, pull your head in, bro. Have some respect. Then I watched it, and he scored, and so J Dubs walked from when he got up to celebrate, he's there. And then he just went, fucking get out of my way. And I was like, all right, fair enough. I said, you deserve that.
I didn't watch it closely enough to.
I
remember just thinking, fuck, a bit of a lemon.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Until you watch it, when you see where Jared comes from, he had no, because they were arguing the set before. Like, and they were going at it. Like, so there's a bit of context.
So Hargraves knew he was going to talk some shit.
Yeah, so they were talking shit. So he got up, and then as soon as he got up to celebrate with his teammates, Hargraves is there, and then he goes, fuck, get away from me, bro. Love it.
Yeah,
that's the shit I love. That's what got him the dog of the week.
All right, some really good nominations and winners for Body Science Dog of the Week, round 21. Let's get into our first topic, our only topic. I've got the finals predictions. Mace, I've gone through. You can see the numbers, but what I want to do is go through and break down quickly.
Wow,
about a minute or so each. I've got those are the points I believe they will finish on. It's got the current for and against, which is actually really crucial because I think there are some teams that are playing in good nick. For instance, I've got Cowboys and Storm. Here's a little teaser. Finishing on the same amount of points. The Storm currently have plus 71 compared to Cowboys plus 57 for and against. But I just have a feeling Cowboys are just going to go on more of a run.
They're good defensively.
So I'm predicting, again, a few more points scored for the Cowboys. So the nice and easy, ticking off the main two. And it might change a little bit now, actually, with the Jeremiah Nanai news. It's the only thing I did this last night before I found out about Jeremiah Nanai. Panthers, Sharks tick, Sharks at home tick, Storm at home tick, Seagulls away tick, Titans away tick, Eels at home tick. I've put down Cowboys at home a loss because the reason that they would have locked up first and second position by this point, that would put them on 42 points. And again, they've got a far superior for and against the Brisbane Broncos, who I believe are going to finish on 42 points as well. So therefore, they rest all their starters against the Cowboys. And more than likely, if everything goes to plan, we'll be playing that same Cowboys the following week with 1 versus 4. So I think there's a real strategy in resting players. So do you agree with all those?
I agree.
They'll beat the Sharks. They'll beat the Storm.
Yeah.
They'll beat Seagulls. No one's beating Penrith, right? Unless the only thing that can throw this out is injuries, like an injury to a crucial player.
Or if other teams are resting players. That's it.
All right, moving on.
Sorry, do you agree with that? I like it.
Yeah, so do I.
Rest them,
it doesn't. Like,
I
he's
don't
done
think
it
the
before.
players really, you'd love it.
Even like NFL, they do that.
Tap on the shoulder.
All right, so the Broncos are sitting in second position. They play the Roosters at the Gabba. Tick. Cowboys away, I have them as a cross. Now, that's a very 50-50 proposition purely because of Jeremiah Nanai, who I rate highly. Griffin Neame could be missing as well. So this could throw things out completely, but I'm still going to give Cowboys the win at home. But I'm not as confident.
We've got Lukey back, and we've got that young kid.
Lukey could be back, and Finay Fuwaki could take his spot.
Yeah.
Eels away, tick. No Regan Campbell-Gillard, no Sean Lane now, no Micah Sevo. Then they get the bye, tick. Raiders away, tick. Storm at home, Suncorp, tick. You like all that?
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the Storm, who are actually, the Warriors are in third position. They're all ticks for me.
Yeah.
Warriors, they finished third. So bye, tick. Titans away, tick. Tigers away, but Waikato.
Wow.
They play them in Waikato. Tick. Seagulls at home, tick. Dragons at home, tick. The Dolphins away. It's easily the best draw. Easily.
They could win every single one.
Well, there's a world in which if the Broncos or Panthers somehow slip up in some way,
they could fuck around and get first.
Well, if the Broncos they got Storm last game at Suncorp. That could be an ugly proposition. No team has an easier run home based purely on the ladder than the Warriors. Yeah. So they finished on 40 points with a plus 111 differential. Moving on to the Cowboys. So now I've got the Cowboys, Storm, and Raiders all finishing on 36 points. So let's go to the Cowboys. It was over this page, actually. Cowboys, Titans away next week. So Titans away, still no matter what. Tick, no Tino, still 2 weeks, two more weeks. They've got the Broncos at home, which is going to be really tough. I've given them a tick for that, but again, that's the one I'm 50-50 on now. Then they've got the bye, tick. They get the Sharks at home, tick. They get the Dolphins away at Suncorp, tick. And I'm giving them the tick against Penrith because of the reason. Because of the resting. I believe the Panthers are going to rest their players. So therefore, the Cowboys shift into 4th position all the way out of the 8 in 5 or 6 weeks. Then we move on to the Storm. So the Storm are a really tricky one as well. They've got the Eels this week at home at Marvel, tick. They've got Panthers away, cross. Raiders at home, tick. Dragons away, tick. Titans away, tick. And then I've got them losing to the Broncos at Suncorp. But again, it'll be pretty close. So they finish in 5th. Then you've got the Raiders. And remember we were talking about the Raiders, Sharks, and Eels? Yeah. So we've got the Raiders, Knights at home, tick. But I'm, again, not as confident. That's a very 50-50 proposition. Isn't it? But at worst, they finish 34 and they're still safe anyway, right? So let's give them a tick at home. If it was at Newcastle, I would have gone Newcastle. Yeah. West Tigers at home, tick. Storm away, cross. Bulldogs at home, tick. Broncos away, cross. Sharks away, just purely because you're going to look at the Sharks' schedule. I reckon Sharks' confidence is going to be an all-time low by the time they get this, and Raiders will be fighting for a home semi. So I'm giving the Raiders a tick against the Sharks at Cronulla.
There'll be a lot going on that game.
Yes,
because the Sharks. It'll be massive. What can happen with the Sharks? We're just thinking the Sharks are trending down.
Yep. It'll be massive because that could essentially end the Sharks season too. So let's get to the Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs, West Tigers away, Tamworth, tick. They've got three away games, but they're at neutral ground. So West Tigers away, tick. Sharks, they'll beat them. Trial Mitt's back this week against the Tigers too, by the way. So. They're playing the Sharks in Perth. Then they play the Dragons in Cairns. They play the Knights away. Yeah. They Tamworth, Perth, Cairns. I don't know why they've done that, but and 2 of them are home games. They need to
be travelling at this stage, do they?
No, it's interesting. But then they go. So I got the Rabbitohs going all the way and ticking every box. Trell Mitt's health permitted as well.
Longest grade one ever.
I'll start again. Tigers tick, Sharks tick, Dragons tick. Knights away will be a tough one, but tick. Then they go into the bye, which is crucial. I think going to Knights just before they have the bye is big. And then also coming out of the bye against the rival in the Roosters, tick. So the Rabbitohs finish on 34 points.
Yes.
And we mentioned them before, Eels and Sharks, they're not up yet. I've got the Knights jumping into the 8. All right, so let's look at the Knights. So the Knights play the Raiders. I've got that as a cross, but that could easily be a dub. Then they get the Dolphins away, but in Perth. So it's neutral. They get the Bulldogs at home. They'll beat you guys.
I'd be spewing if I was playing in Perth.
Yeah.
Fucking 5 hours for 10,000 people.
Why are they playing the Perth games so late in the season?
Money, man. Yeah. It's all money. You don't give a fuck about.
But
like
still, at the end of the season rather than at the start.
First 2 rounds, get
early
that
on.
Away.
Bulldogs, they'll beat you guys. Rabbitohs, they'll lose against, I believe, at home. Then they'll beat the Sharks at home, and they'll beat the Dragons away to get into the 8. So I got them finishing on 31 points. It's a big effort
for the Knights to get in, man.
Yep. Sharks and Eels, they're still not up. Manly Seagulls, 29 points. So they play the Dragons this week. Cherries 300. They'll get up for that. They'll win. Surely. Roosters away. So they'll lose 3 in a row. They'll lose against the Roosters at the SCG. The Panthers will beat them at 4 points, and they'll lose against the Warriors at way, which will be at. Then they've got Bulldogs and Tigers, and they'll beat both you and the Tigers to finish off the season and finish on 29 points. Then we've got the Sharks and the Eels, and I have a combined.
You put the Sharks to 10th?
Sharks 10th. So this is their run. Let's talk through it.
That's all I wanted to hear.
I'm going to get hammered by Sharks and Eels fans for sure. But
Fitzy's going to ring you up, man.
Let's look at their draw. Panthers away.
No.
Rabbitohs away.
Oh, no.
Titans at home.
They should win that.
Yeah, I've got that as well. Cowboys away.
No.
Knights away.
No.
Raiders at home.
Yeah, that's going to be fucking hard, that one.
So at best, they finish on 30 and that would still not get the job done too, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
So even if you gave them, right, you give them the Titans, you just say you give them the Raiders, in my opinion, they still finish on 30, which is above the Seagulls, but not above the Knights. And now let's go to Lukey's Eels. Lukey, you're not going to take, mind you.
I love this one.
No Regan Campbell-Gillard, no Mike Acevo for another 2 weeks. Poor
Lane.
Sean Laney can't catch a trick this year. He's out for...
Man. Feel sorry for him.
Yeah, so do I. Cowboys away. No, sorry, they just played that one. Sorry. Storm away.
No.
Dragons at home.
Yep.
I agree. Broncos away.
They're a pain in the ass, but Dragons. Sorry.
Broncos away.
No.
Roosters at home.
No.
Panthers away.
No.
And then they got the bye.
Imagine finishing on the bye, just fucking hoping these other people just like.
Well, we'll just say the only thing that could again push it, they need to somehow find 32 points. So even if you were to give them the Roosters game, right? So just say Roosters at home. There are no certainties as well. And I'm not even going to worry about the Roosters, Titans, Dolphins. I don't think they could stand a chance. So give them the Roosters game. That still gets them to 30. They've somehow got to find a win against the Cowboys, Storm, and Broncos and Panthers.
Yeah,
and
fuck.
They've got to beat one of those teams.
It'd be a great run if they could go on that. They couldn't afford to drop the last couple of games. And then have injuries, man. They had because they didn't get off to that start that they wanted to. They were 0-5, wasn't it? They didn't even jag 1 or 2 out of that. I'm pretty sure 0-5.
I think they were 0-4.
Yeah, it was
definitely 0-4.
You jag a couple of those games, and they're sitting pretty at the moment. Sean Lane's a big loss.
We'll come back. We'll readdress this as we go on. Yeah, you're right. I think Sean Lane's a massive loss.
Because you got that Brown guy, the kid coming back in about a week or two.
Yep. Dill will miss the Storm game and come back for the Dragons.
Yeah.
So that'll be a great addition. But no Laney, no Regan Campbell-Gillard until the Dragons. Until the Broncos.
They didn't look good on the weekend. Their attack. That young kid, the 6, he's way out of his depth now.
So just to review, Panthers, Broncos, Warriors, Cowboys top 4. Yeah, Storm, Raiders, Rabbitohs, Knights fill out my top 8. Got the Seagulls just missing out, the Sharks just missing out, the Eels just missing out, and the Roosters actually finished on 28 points. But
if the Sharks slip out from coming second and third all year, it'd be the biggest drop ever.
It would be like the Broncos from last year.
Huge, man.
What do you reckon? Do you think my ladder's pretty? Because I've put a little multi on too, and again,
I don't hate it. This is all possible. As I said, like punters just don't get all emotional about it.
Well, they will.
You know what I mean? But they take it personal.
I'll get hammered.
This is your take. This is your take. You know what I mean? This is what you think. And this is a lot of variables that got to happen in here. Understand that. So this is just your take on it. I love it.
This is fully fit, and I think there'll be an argument for...
Tell the punters how you figured all this shit out too. Because I just think you're just going, blah, 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 blah.
No, so what I do is, at this time of the year, there'll be an argument that'll come out and say, I don't know. So I'm trying to think of an off result. Like the Storm lost to the Knights. How do you think the Storm... This is the part of the year where I think teams really focus in on who they are, and you see... In my opinion, you don't see as many upsets.
Yeah.
Like the better teams are starting to get healthy. They're starting to understand who their squad are. I've got a better indication or a better feeling of who these teams are now, and so do the teams and the players in house. So I think the competition stays way more consistent than at the start of the year in particular, for sure, and then in the middle part of the season when teams pick up wins with Origin players out and whatnot. Everyone's starting. By this stage this week, I reckon all the Origin players will be fully rested. Like you think of Teddy, who's going to, you've got to break himself, and the Penrith players. I think it gets way more consistent, and the teams that have been consistent over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I'm more confident in them sustaining that than I am the other way around. And then when you lose troops, like for instance the Eels, I probably got the Eels winning 2 more of those games if Regan Campbell-Gillard's there, if Mike Acevo's there, if Dylan Brown's still not missing extensive footy, if Sean Lane's now not out for the season. If Josh Hodgson, he's ruled out for the season. So, yeah, those are big outs. And then with the Sharks, it's basically just confidence. I'm watching the Sharks. We'll get to the breakdown of the show, but Sharks are just out of confidence badly. That could have completely turned their season around if they won that Manly game in that fashion. Imagine if they'd come back and won that. They really would have given them
and it's not enough to go, they played good in the second half. They can continue. They're still lost.
You still didn't get the win. Yep. All right, let's get into the games. We'll see how they play out. We'll save them for later on in the year. 2 years ago, I hit it fucking perfect. 2 years ago. Last year, a few injuries. The Latrell suspension or injury or something.
So you're saying the Knights did not fluke that?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. And we'll get. I was watching that game closely, and whenever Munster's playing, I'm always watching a game closely too, and could see him getting frustrated. Could see the Melbourne Storm getting frustrated. We've not been able to break him down. They couldn't break him down at the end, and they were really feeding on that Newcastle energy at home. Yeah. But to kick it off, let's get into the Dragons versus Tigers. 18-14. The Dragons just get the dub. With this loss, Mace, Tigers all but secured the spoon.
Who are they going? Like the Dogs are down there.
Yeah, 4 points clear now. Not clear. Well, 4 point gap.
Still five more games, isn't there? So we'll probably have this conversation another 4 weeks. What do you do? Like, who did we back last week? Did I back St George? I'm not sure with this game.
Yeah,
because I couldn't pick it because it's just
I mentally didn't put much effort.
Yeah, I didn't. No, I didn't.
I had to call the game too.
I was watching it, just going, "Fucking hell, what am I doing?" Dragons might up. They always do this. They'll upset a few of these teams who want that little dream run on the way on the back end. The last 4 games,
they
you got
could
the
be
Dragons.
A pain in the arse.
They are a pain in the ass, and they always have been. What about that ball from Lomax? That's freakish, man.
Well, see,
that's one of the best balls I've ever seen, ever.
If it's up there,
it
is
for.
It's not
mate.
even. I don't reckon a lot of people have seen it because it was the Dragons versus Tigers and not many people watching the game. But
if they're a top 4 team and that was played on a Friday night or whatever, that's gone viral. That's fucking better than any ball I've ever seen anyone throw. And I played with Sonny Bill.
Yeah.
It
was class.
That's high praise, man.
Do you think? Yeah, I know, and I know don't say that lightly. That ball was as good as it gets. So I guess that's why he does it so much. If you've got that in your arsenal, if you can pull that out, if you got that in the bag, how wouldn't you try to do that every week?
Jesus, he just ran a circle, this and that. The route to where he got to was unbelievable.
He was on the out, kicked. I think he bumped off Junior Tupou. Was on the left side.
That with his right hand.
Spun, come out of it, whipped it around, I think, Junior Tupou again. So the left edge was Tommy Talau and Junior Tupou.
Yeah.
It was as good as it gets.
Oh, man.
And Michaela Ravalawa, he was hobbling for 20 minutes before it.
Yeah.
He found enough just being the big Fijian.
Just
went bump, went over the top of, I think it was poor Dream Buller coming over in coverage. Buller on Buller, carnage.
Bullers.
That was as good as it gets.
That was a highlight out of the whole game. I was like, that is ridiculous. I didn't even look at the fucking notes. I just went straight to Lomax. In my head, I'm like, the game was so low.
Yeah, it was low.
And I'm like, wow, that kid's got so much talent.
Yeah.
If you could just put him in the right system, in the right frame of mind, like he'll be there where he was a couple of years ago, like pushing for origin spots.
Well, that's back-to-back performances now because he played really well against Canberra 2 weeks ago before their bye.
Yeah, he killed him.
He got, remember, he
second
shifted
half,
back
he's the
to
one who got back in.
Yeah. So do you think Flano's had a word? Because obviously it wasn't working with Anthony Griffin, right? Do you reckon Flano's had a word and gone, Lomax, relax, play footy. You're our dude. Putting that confidence back into him that obviously Griffin had taken away from him.
Even in the left centre, that's why.
Exactly right. And then even his goal kicking was fucking struggling. He's gone back to his old tee.
Yeah.
I've noticed. Because he went to a shorter tee. Now he's gone back to a bigger tee.
Well, maybe he's just not that good a kicker.
No, his numbers were good the last couple of years.
Has he shown that he's like proper kicker? Because
he was like a 78%, 82% kicker for the first 2 years.
Like a golfer who just kept slicing.
Yeah, he had the yips. He's got the yips.
Yeah, it's fucking his confidence up.
Yeah. So at the start of the year, he got a kicking coach. Apparently, he went to the smaller tee, which I've done kicking with Daryl Halligan before at Parramatta. The Chook suggests the more consistent tee is the lower tee, but for whatever reason, it just didn't work for him. And now he's kicking a little bit better. But
I just love to see him be happy, you know what I mean? He just seems to be miserable the last couple of years. His footy's been really getting taxed. You know what I mean? Because I don't think he deals with a lot of the backlash that he gets.
I don't know him at all. He strikes me as a guy who would read a lot of it too.
Yeah. And I don't think he had any other drama on the way up, right? He was always that kid. He was that dude.
Yep.
And then he hit the scene and he still was that dude. And then it's been a little bit muddy in the early parts, and now he's got to deal with it and come out the other end. So I'm glad that he is.
You know what trajectory he reminds me of? Him and Bradman Best sort of hit the scene at the same time.
Yeah, they did. Then they thought they were going to be Origin centres.
They're both going to be Origin stars. Everyone was saying a couple of years. Then they both had real down years for about a year and a half. Injuries played a factor for sure. Obviously, Bradman Best is now starting to get the confidence to come out the end of it. I think there's a world in which Lomax, with the tutelage of a guy like Flanagan, who has a real good rapport with Flano's best strength, if you remember from the Sharks days, for people that I spoke to, he's really good with the stars in the leadership group and then therefore filtering it down to the rest of the playing group. He's a pretty intimidating guy to be around if you're a youngster, but apparently he communicates really well with the stars and the best players, so he should bring out the best in Lomax.
I hope so.
Maybe he's had a chat to him. As for the Tigers, it was a tough watch for them, but Dane Laurie playing 6 was their best player.
Yeah. Defensively, he's like they're not
he was
unreal, but he scrambles, right?
Yeah.
He scrambles.
He was getting his shoulder in front of this game as well.
But he's just got to rely on his middles. He's got to rely on. It's a hard position where he's playing compared to where he's been playing for the last 5 years at fullback.
Yep.
And you throw him in the front line. It's a fucking totally different beast, and he's handling it.
Well, he's heading back to Penrith too.
Yeah.
Penrith Junior heading back to Penrith on a 1 year deal. I think he'll just come as that utility sort of. Bit like Tyrone Peachy's doing now.
Dane Laurie would be on my hit list.
Yes, Super League. I agree.
He would carve for 6 years.
100% he would.
Unbelievable. Bevan French, perfect example, right? Sitting over here, he's undersized. This goes over there. Best player. Yeah. He would carve. Dane Laurie would carve. I'll pay him fucking top dollar.
Yep. If you're a Super League club, go get yourself a Dane Laurie, especially if he comes off a really successful season at Penrith next year, which I think he will. The reports are now not only that Anthony Griffin has spoke to Lomax Mace, but Benny Hunt is open to staying. That's massive news. Or do you think it's just
settled down and there's no communication? I suppose. I don't know, unless Flano's had a meeting with him and said, look, this is what we're going to do. And
they've had 2 meetings now.
Okay.
They had a meeting to stay, and then I think Flano said on Fox the other day that Benny's agreed to sort of see what unfolds at the Dragons. Right. So I reckon a part of that is recruitment. Yeah. Do you think?
Yeah, 100%. What's the plan?
Yeah, what's the plan?
Give me a 2-year plan. Give me a 2 or 3 year plan.
Go get me some players.
And can you get players there?
We'll see. I think that'll depend on whether Ben Hunt stays next year or not. I think he plays the season out now, obviously.
Do you think there's been too much blood spilled with everything going on?
I think there is, yeah. I think we've got it better for both teams. But if I'm the Dragons, I've said this all along, they've got to try to find a way to get something back for Ben Hunt. You can't just go let him.
You can't let him go.
Let him go willy-nilly.
No.
All right, let's move on to the Wars, the Warriors. They defeat the Raiders 21-20. Jacko is up. He's pumped. We mentioned it at the start of the show, Mace. I wrote this down straight away before a ball was even kicked. Straight away, you can tell the club, the fans, the country's all in on the Warriors. Yeah. From the pitch black tunnels to the smoke to the fire. You can tell the Warriors are putting shitload of money into getting the crowd involved in the game. And then obviously the crowd's turning up. And then off the back of that, you have a legitimate home ground advantage that they haven't had for 3 years, right? They've been playing in Redcliffe. They've been playing away. Man. They took a hit for the rest of the competition. Now, the fans in New Zealand are rewarding them by turning up and turning up in numbers. So
they are a good team. They are a good team. We said it the same. The shape that they're putting up and. Don't get me wrong. A lot of teams put the same shape up.
I haven't seen it in a while though.
It's about not the double on the 3-man. No. The inside and out. Joey used to do that with Simpson and BK, and they would terrorise. Ask Jason Taylor.
We even did. There was more of that from the Roosters and us back in 13, 14, 15. I haven't seen it in a while.
The double lead with the guy out the back,
inside, outside. Yeah, 3-man.
I love that shape.
Yeah, so do I.
Me and Sonny used to run it on the 3-man on the left side or the right. It'd be fucking awful. And if you're a good playmaker and a good ball player, Like you choose the right option all the time.
Yes.
You're looking at different people's feet and their shoulders if they're turning in. If they turn in, like who's the centre there?
Jared Croker.
Croker would turn in out the back.
Explain
unbelievable.
Because I understand it. We've done a shitload of video on it. Yeah. We actually did. We spent an hours-long session on it against the Roosters back in the day. So remember in 13, they used to have Sam Moore or Hargraves play the block line from a near post. So like basically they want to get the 4-6 split. So they get a lead runner just outside the market to tie in the A defender. Then they had Piercy cutting on the block, playing double shape with a middle. They played the doubles with the back row and the centre. Yeah. So they had Boyd Cordner inside the 3-man, Sean Kenny-Dowell outside the 3-man, and then they would have Roger or Mini sweeping around the back.
Awful.
And it was so hard to defend. Tell us why it's so hard, Mace, if you're the centre trying to defend when essentially it's just like a block play running inside your shoulder.
Because you've got two guys like running like genuine leads, and you've got to see, and then you've got like the diversion with like just say a Teddy out the back or a Roger or Mini, and then you got the ball. Then you got like just say Hargraves running that lead line because so you got to check the 9 first, right? So you got this playing the long side on the 6. Yeah. Right, like so Hargraves is running that line. Let's go
actually to Warriors play, so it's more relevant so people will be able to understand it better. Okay. So on the right side, it's Sean Johnson running it. Yeah. He has...
So he had a lead guy, he had like a front row just go in front of him, and he was out the back, so he had the 2 leads, right? It was
Marata Niukora and Rocco Berry.
Yeah.
And then he's got Chance Nickel-Clockstack out the back.
But real tucked in, really good, right? And real late. So Chance has come from the other side. And so it shows like if you're the centre, you're going to go, dang, you're coming in on
you see
away.
Rocco Berry on your inside shoulder.
Yeah. And then as soon as he sees that, he goes straight at the back, and it's not a ball showing his chest, it's a lob.
Throw it up.
And he goes bang, and they're skinning these blokes.
You got to throw it. He'd almost be throwing it, just lobbing it up so Chance can hit it on the run.
It's fucking unreal. He made it look so easy, but see how we like double pump it a little bit just to get Croker's positioning.
Well, did you see last week when they hit Rocco Berry?
Yeah,
they hit Rocco
that was the best line ever.
Yeah. So now they've got they're running the same
play.
Cola
run that same line as well yesterday against Cronulla.
Yeah, he did too. Yep. So Ches is bringing it back, and I reckon they should use it more. For
especially when you're getting, because everyone's trying to work to these different positions. So to get that either a 5-5 split or like a 6-4 split, and getting that guy coming late and choosing the wrong side. As soon as he goes that way, 6-4. Cherry and all these ball players, they hope for that. Like SJ, they go fucking because they got those shapes and they can pull them straight away. Yep. Because all you're doing is going to that one person. Like you got big star Olakuatu and Kola inside outside.
Best decoy.
Oh man, it's unstoppable. But you can pull that trigger straight away as long as that guy comes around the back. The third man comes back. Could be 5-5. He goes to the long side because he's a rookie. Yep. And then Cherries and everyone just gets into gear because the fullback comes from late. Cherry comes late. Boom, 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 boom. It fucking happens so quick. Great teams can get on that straight away.
Speaking of great games, great teams, the Warriors, I was legitimately going for them the entire game. But there was a part of me that wanted to see Jared Croker kick that goal at the end.
I thought that was going to be like the whole, like,
the 300 games.
You ruined my 300, now I'm going to ruin yours. I wanted him to kick it.
Yeah, so did I.
Plus, I had the Raiders as well. Like, damn it.
Oh, you did take the Raiders. Remember you said you trust the Warriors and you went the Raiders?
Yeah, there was something about because they're gritty. Like, who does that? No one. Who does that? 2 tries in 2 minutes. Like that last try, imagine that was to win the game. Then you got to start questioning the Warriors' defense. Like, come on, man.
No, not
was
really.
Was it just such a good play?
Yes. No, just because who the Raiders are. Like you've got. So generally, the Raiders do what the Warriors did. They get to a lead. They give it up a little bit and they just hang on. But you got to remember, like when you go through enough, you're battle hardened, you're tested. So that's who the Raiders are. They won't give up until the 80th minute goes, and they didn't. And they had to go all the way to extra time. And there's a part of this whole story that's happening at the Warriors that even despite the way that the game went and the Raiders get back into it, it gives Sean Johnson another opportunity to be the man.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's just ticking more boxes for Shawnee and the credentials for the Warriors. All right.
Another reason why I'll go for that play again. Sometimes that Egan, like he doesn't even need anyone in front of him. All Sean Johnson needs is a lazy, right? He's just throwing like a 20-meter darts to SJ, and he's straight to the 3-man.
We've been on Egan for a while, haven't we, Jacko?
But he's ball, like, and he just throws and he just goes bang. It's like Danny Badiris and Joe. They catch it straight on you, and then they just pull the trigger.
mate. They've got some really big question marks coming up. So I want to throw this to you, right? I think there are 2 players that haven't been playing for the last couple of weeks that'll have to come back into the team at some point. Tamati Martin and Jazz Tavanga.
I don't think either are going to force themselves back.
Yeah, you don't think
have
so?
to play reserve grade and try and get their way through. They're not going to change the winning side.
I've got a take for
So
you.
I think everyone is, putting enough in.
I agree. And it'd be very hard.
it'd be
and this
hard.
is a part of being an NRL coach in your debut season, making big decisions.
Yeah.
Jacko's probably not going to like this one, right? Luke Metcalf. I think at the moment, with the way the Warriors are going, he's that player that you want in your team to just go on this run. Confidence is high. They're flowing. Man. He's got that X factor. He's fucking killing. He's scoring tries for fun. I've had him with the anytime jam too. But I believe when it gets to finals footy and everything starts to clench up a little bit more and plays are harder to score, you're playing the best teams, I reckon Tamati Martin is going to be important for this team. I think if you go back to the start of the season when the Warriors hadn't identified, but they weren't the Warriors they are now. They dropped a couple they probably shouldn't have dropped. Tamati Martin was playing unreal.
Yeah. I think so too.
I think he's going to be, his experience, his demeanour, his control, I think that's going to suit them better off in the playoffs than it might even now, right? Like even if Tamati Martin was fit right now, it might be let the kid go, let Metcalf go. He's got all this energy, he's pumped. The crowd and the country love him.
Yeah.
But I just think Tamati Martin.
Oh, he's the only one that I think that could force his way back in.
And I think Jazz will find it. I think Jazz will play over Sirenin.
But you can see how hard these benches are going because they know they're on something special here.
What about your boys, Martis
Curran? He was hitting like fucking Solomon Humano out there in his prime. You know what I mean? So you can see what it means to everybody in that squad who gets an opportunity. They're playing like it's their last game.
They are.
And that's what you want. That's what you want from your benchies. Like Curran going out there playing every fucking minute he can. He only played 32 minutes. Look at the impact that he had.
Competition.
Iron sharpens iron. I always say it all the time. Bailey Sirenin goes hard. You know what I mean? Like Dylan Walker.
So Freddie, I think he might be the guy that misses out.
Mitch Barnett.
Mitch Barnett's fucking
No. It'd be Sirenin.
Yeah.
Because Curran and Sirenin, similar players. You can't have both those guys. You got to have something else.
Yep.
And I'm not sure whether because Chaz can play 9, but so can Curran's played a little bit, but not genuinely.
No, yeah, Jazz would cover 9 better than what Martis Curran would. He's more of a like for Bailey Sirenin for sure. Yeah. But Bailey Sirenin's been really good as well, man.
So it's a good place to be in if you're the Warriors.
Yep. Moving on to the Rabbitohs versus Broncos. This was a Rabbitohs home game up at Sunshine Coast. Didn't feel like it when the Broncos beat them 36-20. I've said this before at the start of the season, throughout the year. Marty Tapuo is going to cost the Broncos a big game. Didn't on this occasion. It could have easily because he should have been sent. And this will be a blessing. I believe this will be a blessing in disguise. I reckon, I don't know, has he, Lukey, can you find out if Marty Tapuo or Jacko, can you find out if Marty Tapuo has been suspended yet and for how long? 3 weeks? Blessing in disguise for the Broncos, 100%. I've watched him closely now at Manly for ages. He's the type of guy that will do something stupid, whether it be an offload, whether it be a knock on, whether it be a penalty, that will cost. It'll be the only thing to hold this Broncos back. And then when I look at the team players that he's been playing over, guys that have been missing out. When Jersey Flegler's back, you've had guys like Keenan Palacia have been missed out. Brendan Piacuda, who I really like. Xavier Willison. Dog. Remember I told you about him?
Jeez.
Remember I told you about Xavier Willison? 2 years ago, he did his ACL in his second game.
Is that the big man?
That's the big guy. That was him. So he played his second game. I was watching this tearaway come off the bench for the Broncos when they were average too. I'm like, who's this kid? Then I believe he did his ACL either scoring or a couple of minutes after. It was like late in the season in 21, all but was a white for 2022, and he's slowly been drip feeding back into 2023.
Yeah, mate, so this could cost Marty his spot.
I hope it does for the Broncos' sake because,
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the thing with that play, man, like I always think it like they're trying to rule that shit out of the game forever, right? Lifting your knee. That's the worst one I've ever seen.
Ever.
What if he hit fucking Campbell Graham's head and knocked him out cold?
That's
worst case scenario, killed him or something like that. I don't know. fuck if I was with one of the Rabbits guys, he's getting these hands straight away. Because I know that he's getting sent and I'm going with him. That's how fucking bad it was.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know what I mean? I know I'm not condoning fighting, but looking at that, like if that's my boy, if he did that, he's fucking done. That's how pissed off I was. I hate shit like that. Hate it.
Look, and again, I'm not, even though I've been, obviously, I've just given a bit of hiding there with my description of him, but I don't think he's a dirty player.
No, he's not a dirty player. He just does. That's the dumbest thing in the world.
It's just dumb for a veteran. Like you're supposed to be. He's been around since I was playing, 2010, 11, 12 years. You come off how do you still come up with that? And
he's been doing a job for him as well. He's been going around.
He has been.
He got a.
I'm telling you,
he's got that shit in him. But
yeah.
this could cost him his spot because they're going to go on a run.
Yeah,
and as you said, those players that they have, those young kids, they're dynamite. That's the future of the club. He's not the future of the club.
I agree.
So when you got these young kids, this Xavier Willison, geez, if I'm on the opposition, I'd rather have Tapau than that big bastard coming off the bench with absolutely no fear, who's 6'5" or 6"
as fuck.
and doesn't give a shit.
He's huge.
He's huge. He just fell over the line, played the Bulldogs from about 5 metres down. Everyone just went, oh, fucking hell. But he's a tearaway, man. But yeah, stuff like that with Marty. God damn, it's like, no, you just didn't have to do that. He's lucky he got 3 weeks, man. He's lucky he didn't get sent off and got 6 and ended his whole season.
I agree.
That was bad. That was one of the worst things.
Three's right for being a dumb cunt. Just before the game, Trell was ruled out again. Are you worried about Trell now? He was supposed to play in this game.
And I thought he was about 100% going to play. And I thought of any game, it would have been this one.
Same. But yeah, so a part of me starts to now worry. That's my only concern with Souths. Blake Taft's been outstanding, but
can only hold the fort for so long, man.
When you're playing a team like the Brisbane Broncos and Reece Walsh returns and he's doing on the opposite side what Reece Walsh is doing, it was the difference. Trell's out there about 8 weeks ago and they just run right on the Broncos. Yeah, they didn't have Payne Haas. Yeah, they didn't have Ezra Mann, but still pretty much everyone else is back for South that I can think of. Yeah, Jai Arrow was back.
Full card.
Kalol Matangi was back. Cody Walker was back. Campbell Graham was back.
Yeah, everyone was back.
They were stacked. They just didn't have Trell. And
that's the difference, man. He's the difference.
Are you worried about them not making the 8?
Yep. Genuinely now.
No.
Because of the fact that he didn't play and I thought that he was 100% going to play. So it's been 10 weeks now. 10 weeks with a grade 1.
Yeah, Origin 1.
Yeah. That's a long time.
So he re-aggravated it, right?
Yeah, obviously he did. Yeah. But so it happens with those grade 1s, man. And if you get pushed back and try and push them too far, they end up going, they can go crazy on you, man. I just want him back. It's fucking good for the game.
Yeah. It sucks.
It sucks when you don't. He's a superstar in the game.
It would have been so good to see him going against Walshy back to back. I think we'll get another opportunity. Fit. I think they'll make the 8 and I think they'll see the Broncos later in the year.
Yeah, I think they will make that. I'm just worried.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm
with you.
Yeah, okay.
Like they're a team when I was going through, like, all right, the fucking, if he doesn't come back, they've got a nice draw. Tigers, Sharks, Dragons, Knights.
Yeah,
that's a nice draw. Yeah. Moving on to the Titans versus Roosters. Titans score 18 points late to make it respectable, but it was 36-0 after 50 minutes. It almost should have been 40-0 before Daniel Tupou was raised on the shoulders, carried. That's for breaking the record.
I messaged Minnie straight away. I said, "You're still the man. wait your turn, son." That was terrible. And it's like, I get it with those things. But I mean, surely the refs go, fuck, there's no way the Titans coming back. Let's just not even look at this shit. You see, I don't know. That's just probably
you can't
me.
Do that.
I know. I hope they don't think like that.
Punting-wise, you can't do that too.
I know.
Like you fuck people's multis if you go, we just got to give it to him.
Yes, I know. Right?
But I would have fucked multis not giving it to him too.
And I'm like, I just think at the moment, I said, yeah, it was great because he already put him on his shoulders. I can't take it back from him. You can't take those moments back. So when he does eventually break it, or imagine if he doesn't ever break it. Imagine some horrible touch wood happens to Toops and never plays again.
What if back to back? What if he should not? If they want to do it next year in celebration, he should palm them all off until try confirmed and then go.
Then they walk up on their people's backs.
You can tell he didn't even want it anyway.
No, Toops is so humble.
Toops is too humble. You could tell when he was up there.
He was just like, it was so uncomfortable. He said, get me down. Oh, that was bad.
This is the Roosters we all expected.
Yeah. Led by our man, J-Dub. Lindsay Collins was looking good. He looked like he was playing Origin again.
Yep.
Brandon Smith was the guy. He's the key.
I've got a theory. Remember in 2015 at Manly where we struggled at the start of the year? We ended up going on a run, and I got the stats for it, and we ended up winning 8 out of our last 12 games. When we went on a run of like 5 to 6 games, it was all but, when they say you're mathematically still a chance, it had got almost to the point of the season where we're like, fuck, we can't really do anything anyway. 13-14 were really successful.
Even if we did make it, we'd have to be
15, we'd have to win every game and all this. So we dropped the shoulders and it's just like it didn't matter anymore. Yeah. We played really carefree and played really entertaining footy to finish off the season. We ended up, do you know we dusted the Broncos that year who played in the grand final against the Cowboys? We dusted them 36-6 at Central Coast.
At the Central Coast, yeah.
Right? So there's a part of me when I'm looking at this Roosters team now and I'm going, that performance gave me those vibes. They looked loose. They looked free. They looked rested. They looked like they'd just gone and Robbo said, boys, season's done. Relax. Let's just try fucking be proud of our performance. Let's try string a few together and finish off the season strong because fuck, they played good.
Yeah. And it's all the energy from Brandon Smith, even that Sandon Smith, the 7.
Yeah, he was good too, wasn't he?
Good. Kiri was attacking the line. And I just thought the week before, when they come out with that attitude against Melbourne, I'm like, they fucking look like they're on. Melbourne was just on more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just like, fucking Hargraves was going at it. Like, I just saw that, like, things.
Even against
things
Manly, they were the
clicking.
same. Even against Manly.
It just wasn't clicking. I was like, now everything just turned into points. And they just went on a roll. And the 18 that the Titans scored, who cares?
Yeah.
It was done.
It was done. So now Teddy goes for a break to Byron. Comes back, great Nick. Best game of his season for the Roosters for sure. Right off the back of a really good performance in Origin. Bradman Best goes to Bali and comes back.
Blueprint's there, boys.
The blueprint's there.
Fuck away from Sydney. Rest up,
Rest
son.
in the season. Head north to some point. At least get to close to the border.
Cairns.
Cairns still goes I can see next year, if teams are struggling or if your individual's in poor form, you're sending him north of Byron. I don't care if you're going to Burleigh Pav. I don't care if you're going to Cairns. All the way up to Bali.
There'll be a bunch of superstars.
Go fix a villa. Go fix a fucking villa in Bali because whatever that's happening outside of the Sydney bubble, it's worked for those two players.
Port Douglas, Palm Cove, Cairns, Townsville. We had a good little trip up to Townsville.
Yeah.
Look, the weather up there is beautiful.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's 28 degrees
it's
right now.
It's just more relaxed up there.
Yeah, everyone's so chilled, eh? No one gives a shit about footy.
Just a quick one on the Titans. Tino's out for 2 more weeks, suspension. Do you think this will factor into his decision now, watching and seeing if they capitulate without him?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't think...
What would you be doing if you're in Tino's position, right? You've been busting your guts there for the last couple of years. They toss up this performance against the Roosters.
Was this his 3rd year or 2nd?
3rd. 2020 he played in the grand final. 1, 2, 3. Third year.
He's been their best player every year.
Every year.
Yeah, you're probably thinking he's probably lucky that he won that comp down in Melbourne.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like if he's chasing rings, if he's chasing rings and he's chasing success, like do you go somewhere else?
Well, he's already activated the clause, so now he's a free agent, right? That's activated. That's a fact. So now he sits back and watches the Titans without.
I think he just wants to renegotiate because I reckon he just wants to sit at the table again and go, you know what? I did sign up here for what? Just say $750 or something like that.
It was $825. We end up getting to.
I reckon he's worth over $1 million.
Yeah, so do I.
I reckon like halfbacks and front rowers and locks these days, if you're playing those many minutes and can impact a game, you're talking like, what they say Ponga got? 1.4?
I think so, yeah.
It's fucking unbelievable. You know, he can impact a game in so many ways, but so can Tino. So can Payne Haas. Those guys, they know it because the market's there. So they want to go, you know what? If he can activate this clause, this is a smart thing to do if you're Tino. You'd be an idiot not to. Go back out and then renegotiate for 5 years. Another 5. He's 23.
He could go. There's a world in which he gets $6 million for 5 years, 1.2,
like and it's well deserved.
And in 2 years it could be unders.
Yep, and I think he should do that. It's the right way because you don't know how long you're going to be in this game for, and you know he's playing in the front row. He's in the hardest position on the field, and he's one of the hardest dudes in the comp and one of the best. This peak doesn't last forever. So you want to solidify something,
Yeah.
Pay for it.
I'm with you.
And it could be back with the Titans. You just got to pay him more money.
Yep.
And he deserves it.
Fucking oath he does. All right, the Knights beat the Storm at home 26-18. One of the biggest wins. Yeah, actually it was the biggest win of the weekend, considering how good the Storm looked last week against the Roosters. But I've sort of been alluding to this now for a couple of weeks, right? KP's decision. The performances for the two players that we mentioned before, Bradman Best, Jacob Saifidi at Origin, the confidence that the Cowboys got out of Origin after game one, which now I think can translate to the Knights. That's why I have them in the top 8. But it sort of looked a bit too easy for the Storm at the start of the game.
Yeah.
You reckon? You reckon,
the first couple of tries was just like, yeah, geez, like Newcastle going to be there. And then Newcastle just turned up, didn't they?
The Tarek Sims sin binning was...
That was ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah. What's he...
How did he hit that?
Hastings.
Was there a little bit in that? I laughed.
I don't know.
Because he had a whole body to hit. And
I know.
He hit his head.
Yeah, he wanted to hit him, didn't he?
I think he just wanted to hit him.
They wouldn't have
He's just got that head.
Yeah, he does have that head.
You know, that's for all the old dudes like me.
Yeah.
Just want to hit a halfback. I laughed when he hit. I was like, yes. But I'm like, oh, you're going to get hit.
He still hasn't found his feet at Melbourne, though, has he, Tarek?
No. What do you do? Like, do you start him? Like, where does he start? Like, I mean...
Because he sort of gets a bit too, like, he's a bit like the Donsky in a way, right? Where you can't have him on the bench for too long. He gets too fucking fired up.
Yeah.
He gets too, like...
someone. That's what happens. You put him on there for 25 minutes.
Start him.
Yeah.
Take the sting out of him early and then tire him out a little bit.
Because it doesn't look as aggressive, you know what I mean? It's like when he hit Hastings, it just looked like it was fucking, I'm sick of you. I hate your head.
It looked like it was personal, didn't it?
Yeah, it was just like, because I'm like, was standing here like this, and he's got a whole body to hit. He could have dipped. He just went, fucking smack.
It looked like a punch.
That's what I mean. He just went, oh, bang. I was like, oh, I don't mind that, but you're going to get 10. So that was a big deal for him. They couldn't. There's two tries. Two tries while he was off. But I'd just love Newcastle beating Melbourne. They haven't won since 2014 when Kurt Gidley kicked that goal. So it's for them to win. That would just have build so much belief with that club, man. Crowd was pumping. Newcastle's back, man.
Speaking of people being back, Pappy's back. He tweeted he had a really good couple of weeks. Contact. I believe the plan might be to drip feed him into Queensland Cup.
Yeah.
They're with the Queensland Cup team, but it could come at the perfect time because Remus Smith's done his adductor.
Yeah, that looked weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, yuck. He was sort of getting dusted by Bradman.
Bradman was going all right. Yeah. Bradman was getting him.
Yeah. So maybe there's a world in which you can go straight away. Pappy would have been the ideal 14 in this day and age, I reckon, where you come back, you drip feed him back into the lineup. But
when's the last time Pappy played?
So, it would have been round 21 last year. Jack Whiten ran straight through him and shattered his kneecap into 1,000 pieces. But by all reports, he's starting to feel good. He's getting through contact sessions. So,
just want him back, man. Like he's
Pappy
a
fullback,
superstar.
Meany to centres.
Yeah.
They've got Marion Seve as well.
Oh, I reckon Seve will go in there. I reckon Meany could Meany play 14? Like a 14 sort of role?
Meany could, yeah.
Like I think he's got that in him.
He's had a good year too, man.
Yeah, he's been great. But I just want Pappy to come back and just finish the year off.
Yeah, so do I.
Just for his mental sort of side of things.
They love bringing a 14 who can. He's even played it himself when he was breaking into his to the Melbourne Storm rotation. Nico Hines 14, where they got that outside back come on.
Just change the pace of the game.
I think they'll go Marion Seve into the centres if he's fit and ready to go, and then play Pappy in the 14 jersey to bring him back.
Let's talk about Newcastle. Do you think they can make a run for it?
I do.
Genuine run. But what about if they get the 8th spot? Could they make a run? Get an upset?
No. I think they get once they got to the top, they scrape into 8th position. Therefore, they'll play Storm.
Yuck. Well, this game could go a long way then.
Yeah.
Be down there, but a bit different.
It'd be at Melbourne. It'd be a different.
Bradman Best. He's on another level at the moment.
He's set to test the market, isn't he?
Left side centre.
What would you pay for Bradman Best and the Zach Lomaxes?
I think their value has gone down. I think.
Yeah.
Left all centres at the moment. I reckon. I've been
so apparently he's on close to 800,000.
What?
Yeah.
Remember a couple of years ago when they had these young tearaways like Lomaxes, and they were signing these big deals. Big deals. So at the moment now, I think he could demand that, but not from a big club.
What would you do if you're Newcastle? Because
is he trying to get more than that? What he's on?
I couldn't pay. It wouldn't matter what centre it is. Even if it's Latrell Mitchell playing centres, I'm going Latrell. I'll give you 1.2, but you're paying fullback. You can't pay a centre that much in this day and age.
No, I'm not. I just think, well, he obviously doesn't. He's not happy at Newcastle.
I think he is. I think he's going through a negotiation process where he's going to test the market.
Test the market.
Just played Origin.
Who would you? Let's just say he's on 800. How much more could you push it?
What would you do if you're Newcastle? Would you pay him any more than 800?
No,
I wouldn't.
No, not a chance.
And
especially knowing that you're paying Ponga 1.4, 1.5.
Yeah, well, I'd pay.
You'd be getting another front row.
And everyone knows I don't like Hastings but I'd even pay Hastings more now based off like his combination. Let's get to them actually. Let's get to Ponga, Gamble, Hastings, and Crossland because I think it is working beautifully.
Yeah, it is.
So you've got Jackson Hastings who basically controls everything. He is moving the team around. You got Gamble. We said this from the start, mate. They're the yin and yang. They work so well together. You've got Hastings who wants to control everything. You got Gamble who he played really well on the weekend.
Yeah, he did.
Played, off the cuff. He pops up on the left. He pops up on the right, and now it's given Kalen the freedom to just jump in and either just get involved in like plays 4 or 5 to put in a kick or put in a nice pass or try to find the right option. But now Kalen's kick returns have improved again because he's not tiring himself out. Because there was a point I watched him last year when they played the Dragons where he was having 3 touches a set.
Yeah, it's too much.
And he was just fucking so gassed. By the time he got the ball for a kick return, he'd be labouring up. Yeah. What happens when you labour up? You drop your angles, you drop your levels.
And someone's trying to kill you.
You get fucking concussed.
Yeah.
So
that was a big factor.
Shout out to Phoenix
Cross. That was a big factor in it.
Yeah.
He was fatigued. Like he's one of the fittest guys in the game. But if you give him to get the ball 3 times a game, 3 times a set, that's way too much. So it's good that Hastings and Gamble.
It's working well. And Phoenix Crossland?
Phoenix has been good.
Yeah. It's been nice.
He does his job, man.
Well, he's a convert. He was a half, but he looks more like he looks like more of a hooker than I've ever seen him play halves.
It just took a while for him because when he hit the scene, he was playing half. He was playing.
I think he had a few
fair few bench. You know what I mean? Like he was a gun half, and it's just like it doesn't really equate to being a NRL half these days, does it?
Nah, and sometimes the pressure comes onto you early, just like our guys that we were talking about before, Tommy Dearden and the Cowboys. They beat the Eels 24-16. We expected it. Were you not impressed? I know you said you were disappointed with Parra. Were you not impressed by the way that they fought back and got back into that game? Like Gutho and Moses.
Gutho. I'm not surprised at Gutho. Like he knew they had like 2 middles down, so their middles would have been fucking. The whole thing would have been just pump through the middle, and he'd get in there, play 3 or 4. Moses push up nice and flat, and just go at it.
He was legit.
And he just didn't care. He was coming in, and because he knew that Taumalolo and all these sort of guys hadn't played big minutes all year, they were gassed in the middle.
It looked hot there,
and it was 82% humidity.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So it was one of those nights. It was awful.
Even Jeremiah looked fucking gassed before he put on that big shot on. Was it Madison?
Yeah, he hit someone. Yeah, crushed.
Was it Madison?
Yeah, it was Madison. Yeah. So like,
and Madison's like it's very hard to hit Madison. Yeah.
So I just think like he played smart. I wasn't surprised in how Gutho goes at it.
Yeah. Did you see Todd Payton's comments on Moses?
No.
So when they asked him about the Valheim sin binning, which I thought was very soft, by the way, that was whiplash. That his head went like that.
That was a great hit.
Payment. Todd Payton goes. It was good refereeing by Mitch Moses.
Big Rod.
Big rocket.
That was because if that had hit his head, he was out. Like, you don't just roll over and he was more shocked, and he's just like, "Oh, I can get something out of this."
You know what he said?
Smart play from Moses.
You know why Moses is smart? He's got fucking mad IQ. I like Mitchie, but whenever I watch him play, I end up leaving the game going. People ask me, they're like, "Oh, we understand why Mace is a hater on the Eels, but why are you a hater, Scope?" Sometimes I watch what they do, and even Gutho does it sometimes, where I watch them and go, fuck, they talk too much to the referees. They fucking complain too much. And Moses, and this is a smart play, this is footy IQ. What players are doing now, so instead of when they get hit, grabbing their head because then they can get taken off HIA, right? Moses grabbed his jaw. You see it? He's like this. He's going like that because then you can like just say if the touchy comes on or they're watching them in the bunker. Oh no, he's sweet. It's not concussion. He's just fucking hurt his jaw.
He's got a shoulder to the jaw.
Or I see some players grab their shoulders. You see Dream Buller, actually, I was watching the game. The Tigers, Dream Buller gets hit by, I think it was Ravalawa, and he hit the deck and he went, like that.
Oh, I hate it.
Yuck.
Fucking hate it.
Yuck.
But even like, I think it's smart from Moses. Like, you know, if you do grab if you do go down, you've got to go off.
So
he's just
it's
grabbing
smart
like
play.
that, and then the refs go, it's automatic. He must have hit him with his shoulder. God, come on.
Yeah, shoulder
just
to the
be
chin.
smarter, refs.
Yeah.
Know who you're dealing
He's
with.
playing, yeah. I've got to give, I think it was Grant Atkins in this game. He was, because Moses, I've said this 1,000 times, I think he has the best strike rate for captain's challenges, and he's not even the captain in the competition. Like he is the best at fucking nailing, running in or telling Gutho you got to challenge that or don't challenge that. Like someone
He
might
didn't come in when Big Smoking Joe was fucking doing it.
Yes, yeah.
That was one of the worst challenges. Dude, don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked how physical the Cowboys were. They bashed the Eels, man.
That's why I was actually impressed from Parramatta. The adversity that they showed.
They're a tough team, Para. Tough team. They nearly end up coming back. Yeah.
Brycey Cartwright's playing tough as fuck this year.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Sean Lane, he was like he was gassed, but to dive on that ball, that loose ball just before Chad, that would have been a try for Chad Townsend.
Horrible elbow injury.
He just can't catch a break,
No.
And also, I think I don't know if it's come out officially yet, but apparently Josh Hodgson announced to his retired to his teammates. So
well done, Hodgson.
Great career.
Yeah.
He come over. He's one of those guys that we've said before. If you're a Super League team trying to create the best possible NRL team, come over, look at the bottom tier or players that you can't get a crack. If you're a team down the bottom, like the Raiders were a couple of years ago, 10 years ago, go over to the UK, find the best Poms and bring them to Australia.
Because they can play.
They can play. It sort of just didn't pan out the way they envisioned at Parramatta, but what a career. A couple of knee injuries and then I think it was a neck injury or something that's...
He just got really old in the last 18 months.
He got real old.
He fucking just aged.
Yeah.
Nanai,
right.
So sorry, Nanai's not out for the whole year, you said?
Oh, no. Apparently Jeremiah and I will be back potentially for finals. And Hylam Lukey Stowe comes back next week or the week after.
Yeah, it's a big loss, man. He's in some fucking career best form, isn't he?
Yeah. All right, your Bulldogs went down to Penrith 44-18, Mace. I'll tell you what, 44-18 is not a bad scoreline for what it was looking like after about 15 or 20 minutes.
28 nil, wasn't it?
When the Peach was going over for a double, I was going, I know. This could be anything. But you honestly, you showed some fight off the back of what Serrato said in the presser as well. About 3 or 4 of the boys were sick. Preston pulled out just before the game.
Yeah. That hard week, man.
Reid Marnie shouldn't have played, but he, being the skipper, he wanted to play some sort of part, so he stayed on the bench, come on and played middle. So you showed some real fight.
Tough team, man. You're going against the Panthers.
Panthers are Panthers.
Clinical.
But let's try to find some positives with the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Got some players coming back next week potentially. So Kicks.
Yeah, I think Kicks, Fox, Liam Knight arrives.
Liam Knight's just rocked up. How do you think Liam will go with? You sort of need a presence in the middle, don't you?
He's been in some good systems.
Yeah, you need a big body, don't you?
Yeah, he's bigger than you think, and he's just been. I think you might fit him this club.
Yeah,
he's been over there at South, and he's been playing in a fairly good pack the last 3 or 4 years, right? Yeah. And he's got a horrific injury last year. I think that's what really stopped that.
Him being in the team for
the hip drops, like he was involved in the hip drop, which fucking near blew his knee out and ruined his whole career. So he's come back from that. He's been fighting. He's been through a hell of a lot off the field. So like just him being at our club right now, I think it's sort of the perfect fit. Maybe for him and for us. Like he probably thinks he's going to start and he's going to be involved in the 17 every single week instead of being like in the 21 and not being able to play because of the talent that South had. He should be able to cement a spot here.
He should do, yeah. He should come in that team with a bit of confidence.
With a bit of confidence, with a bit of swag.
You know who's been going all right? I don't mind him at hooker, and I think just not even with you guys if it's not long term. I like what Flano's been doing at hooker, eh? I think he can be an okay 14 or backup in that position for another club. He won't be at the Bulldogs, you can tell.
He's shown some versatility, isn't
he? Yeah, he has. And I think
toughness as well.
He reminds me a bit of the Phoenix Crosslands of the world, where I don't think you want him to be your week in, week out starter at hooker.
No, he's too
But
small.
like 14 or like if he starts to develop that, goes away in the preseason and goes, all right, it might not be working for me in the halves or I'm going to go somewhere and have to be versatile because he's probably lost that opportunity to be an out-and-out centre now.
Yeah.
It's either go to the UK, go to the Super League.
So someone like him, he could kill it overseas.
Yeah.
Absolutely kill it.
I agree.
And I think just say his toughness and the way that he competes, you can't really coach that. Like, so he really, couldn't start.
Yep.
Come and start. He's not the biggest guy, Flano, is he?
No, and they were targeting him.
Yeah, and they go at him. You're going against one of the best packs, and they were going at him.
Fisher Harris and Leota were targeting him every time.
And he was just like in you. Like he didn't just fucking
go
through. He was like
body in front.
Body in front, body in front. So he keeps competing and he keeps doing that. So wherever he goes, he's going to be he'll play well. So he can play off the bench. He can start for you. You know what I mean? If he wants to play in the NRL. But if he goes overseas, man, he will carve Super League up.
You know who go right overseas as well? Nathan Cleary. 150 first grade games for the Prince.
Go away.
25 years
old.
old.
Like he never had a...
He looked good.
Oh,
he looked
just
sharp.
Come out and just like sharp as a...
Even when he took that quick tap and took off, and I was like...
I thought he wanted to test it.
Yeah. It was nice.
Yeah, I liked it. I was like, nice. Get back.
And I was watching it going, fuck, Penrith, they're going to be hard to beat, man.
Yes. Yeah. No
At the start of the year,
no Tungo.
No Isaac Tungle. He
ridiculous.
Apparently, it was almost Ivan said after the game, he's sweet. We're just sort of resting him. You've got the luxury of having Peach come in and do a job. Every time Peach has come in, he scored 2 tries.
He's forcing his way in the team.
He'd be a good X factor. It's him or the weak gutted dog. I don't know what's happening with Jamin Salmon.
He might be out.
I think he's been playing New South Wales Cup.
Holy shit!
I could be wrong. Someone will write something.
The Panthers are hard, man. Regardless, like if we had no injuries or anything like that, you play Panthers out there on a Sunday. It's going to be a hard game. So the boys, they never gave up. Could have been ugly out there if you. I was hoping Kicks could have played. Minutes. Yeah, and that's how bad the kid, his injury is.
Yeah.
As if you don't want to play Penrith without Penrith.
Yeah, he would love to.
He would love to be out there. I think it's been 14, 15 weeks. So I mean, obviously we can't make the 8. So we're not going to be rushing him back in.
Of course, and then you've also got it'll be perfect to bring him back in when you do get Preston, Sutton, Sexton, Fox, Kicks, potentially some big players coming back in this week. Who are you playing this week?
We've got the Dolphins up there in Bundaberg.
Ooh.
Little Bundy rum.
Yeah, could sneak that one. Oh, might be a little bit early jam. Might be a little bit early jam before those players come back. Speaking of coming back, Rome. Ivan said after the game they want to keep him. He wants to stay. Do you think Jerome Luai can fit under that cap? So Nathan Cleary, Isaiah Yeo, Dylan Edwards, Fisher Harris, Brian Dotto.
We said this. Someone's got to go, don't they?
They've all been done in the last couple of years. They're just when you're back-to-back champs and favourites to win your third.
3 grand finals in a row.
3 grand finals in a row. Your value goes up. What is Jerome Luai worth on the open market? 1.2?
Yeah, easy, easily. Not even.
What do you reckon Penrith can offer him?
8.
I agree.
Do you stay there? How old is he? He's got a family.
He's won 2 comps.
I'm not sure what else he could do out there, other than cash in and just go over and start your own team.
You'd be 25, 26. Just played his 100th game.
Yeah, right.
Against the Dolphins.
He's a baby. So when's he off? At the end of this year or next year?
What would you put into that if you're him? A couple of comps, great system, great teammates. It's a lot of money.
Do I want to leave?
It's a lot of money, bro. 400K potentially. I think max probably Penrith could offer him 900.
That's not enough, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. He's going to
he could go just say Brisbane, right?
No, not Brisbane.
No, just say like in a year, like is Reynolds done? Like Reynolds would be done after 2 years. Like, and you got to get someone after Reynolds.
Yeah,
he could play 7 easy too.
So he's not off until the year after.
Yeah,
so
2024. Yeah, I spoke to him when I was out at St Mary's.
Oh yeah.
The Bulldogs are probably off. I'm not sure. Do we look at Burton? Burton's a 6, right? So we're not going to look at Luai.
Well, I reckon Luai could play 7 with Burton for sure. I reckon that'd be a great combination. Tigers for sure.
Tigers will throw him $1.5 million.
Well, Benji is his favourite player. I think he's come out and said that.
And they've got a lot of money, and they're not signing Dewey anymore.
No.
So that's like a big...
Well, he's signed, but they've offered to let him leave early if anyone wants to take his contract.
He'd be my guy if you're going to go after. But that's easier said than done. Like
I think
a lot of players would be like,
I really do. I think he'll transform the Tigers.
Yeah.
He'd be exactly.
He could suit the way that they play because they want that flamboyant sort of style. That's their DNA. If everyone always talk about it, the DNA of West Tigers is fucking flat and fast, flamboyant football, skipping everywhere, just having options everywhere.
Young, exciting outside backs, veteran forwards.
They've got a decent team.
Yeah,
this is not. You are not going to a team. So just say next year, I think they'll have a totally different team, different run next year. I reckon the Tigers, and you'll be sitting there going, "Oh, they look like they could go on a bit of a run."
Maybe just re-signed it for another 2 years too. Extended.
Maybe it's time. You know, he can.
If he wins 3, I reckon if he wins the third one, then 1.5. The Tigers would be so hard to turn down.
That's what they were offering, I reckon, or just say 1.2, 3, 4. And that's what the market dictates.
Yep. Yeah, and I reckon it'd be good
and
value.
He'll bring that sort of swag to like the Tigers. It'd be perfect fit.
Western Sydney. Penrith, very similar to Campbelltown. Got all the brothers. Got a heavy Pacific Islander influence there at the Tigers. I think he'd fit in well. Sharks versus Eagles. The Eagles nearly threw this one away, mates. They went 30-0 and they come back and just scrape home 30-26. Is that... We went through the Sharks before. Have you given up on the Sharks after that? They needed to win that.
They needed to win it, and they just didn't need. I mean, like they come back. I know that, but a few people that with Manly, you get Jakey going off, like your middle opens up. People don't understand the amount of work that guy does, and it gets exposed when he does go off. And then you had Paseka go off as well. So some veteran bodies. That was an
ugly move too.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, I hated it.
I don't like that dragging of the leg.
There's no
shit in that. And
there's no ruling for it. That's why you could tell they were trying to buy time to penalise him, but there was no ruling for it. That's a worse tackle than 95% of the hip drops I've seen this year.
Yeah, I hate that when they drag your leg.
Picked his leg up, got it stuck, then the other one got jammed him.
Finucane was he had a body, you know what I mean? Like he was just holding him and his leg got stuck. But
it was Calhoun
just doesn't grab his leg and twist him around. He doesn't get stuck.
Yeah.
Like, just get the fuck out of there. Oh, it made me so angry. I know, you don't mean to do that. You don't mean to do it. But like, just like with grabbing the legs and shit, there should be a rule. You just fucking can't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're not impacting the tackle at all.
You shouldn't be able to grab and twist.
They're trying to move you not north-south, they're trying to go east-west.
Yeah.
That's all they're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, buying half a second. I know when you talk defense and all that sort of shit, half a second's a lot. Yeah. It helps, you know. Like
I remember Hindy used to do it heaps.
Fucking
so if you
annoying.
had someone in it, it used to happen to Hindy because you know how Hindy used to get that base.
Yeah,
remember how he used to run and stop, and people used to try to pick up his leg and then like flip it.
Because he used to surrender every single run.
Yeah. No, he used to run and go like that. So he would stop at the line sort of in a bump and then try to hold people like this. We mentioned the right edge before. Sharks made a shitload of changes on the left edge. Yeah.
Sharp.
They've got to find more ways to get Tolu Kolos some ball like that, eh?
Yeah.
He's a problem, man.
You just got to run those plays, exactly what they did. Regardless of like if the left edge wasn't defending good, those plays are fucking hard to defend.
Against any team.
Any team.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it makes it fucking, look at Trindle. It was in the fucking blender.
Yeah.
All game.
You know what shape they should run? The shape that Penrith will run them with kicks sweeping out the back. Yeah. So little variations run. Double shape inside, outside, 2-man. And then every now and again, Olaquatu sweep out the back, Tolu Kola hit inside the centre. And how many times over the last couple of years have you seen like Stephen Crichton go untouched or Matty Burton go untouched? Remember when Matty Burton was playing left centre? He was running through holes and people going, oh, fuck, Matty Burton's the grouse. Kick-out was out the back.
But the thing is, when Kicks is out the back and all you have to do, and your fullback sweeps late, all you have to do is just pop it up to the fullback and it's hands. Or it's a 2-on-1 straight away.
Yeah.
So Garrett comes around the back real late. Kohler runs that lead line, Oluquatu comes out the back real late. It's just a little tip, and it's like a fan shape.
And
no one can stop it.
Little out in.
No one can stop it.
He's
That
got some
shape,
skills, Oluquatu.
And Oluquatu has the skill set to do it. Can't do it with many back rolls.
Yeah.
Back rolls are just like, some are very robotic. But like when you got the kick outs, when you get Sonny Bills and Frank Pritchards and all those sort of guys, with
Frankie was grassy.
high skill set, you can do that. Nanai could do that as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you, a team that's not doing it at the moment is the Sharks. Mace, I don't reckon, we talked about Cowboys, Origin, shot up. Newcastle Knights, mini run, but potentially to shoot up. I don't think a team's been hit harder than the Sharks due to what's happened to Nico getting dropped from Origin. I reckon I know he's resilient and he'll fight his way back in, but I think it really affected him and it's had an effect on the team because I think the team's so dependent on him. Like you think he was a Dalian Player of the Year last year, and he is basically in all the shape. He plays both sides of the field.
Everything. He
moves around. It looks like when he makes an error now, it's really weighing on him.
Yeah, I think, and his combination with Trindle needs to get fit if he wants to play NRL week in, week out. You cannot be like that. Like just plays, like not being on the ball all the time. Like you can't be like that. Defensively, you can't be like that. It looks so disconnected from the 12 to this,
Calhoun.
Calhoun, Trindle, Connor Tracy, and then Paul Mulitalo out there doing his best. Like those three blokes were fucking that whole team up.
Yeah, that left edge just hasn't worked all year. You wouldn't even think like Waito hasn't even been playing. Like
Waito left edge, man.
Well, he was injured and he missed this week through injury. But yeah, they're in trouble. The Sharkies. I'll be surprised. I put a line through the Sharks at the start of the year. They come back and embarrassed me for a little bit. I put up that's my top 8 prediction. We'll see what happens. I could be wrong. My feeling is Sharks and Eels are going to really struggle. Yeah, Knights are going to trend up. Rabbitohs will hang on. And I think Cowboys, despite no Jeremiah and I, can go on a little run.
That's a good take, but it's if you have a look at it like you've studied it, if you're a Sharks fan, you'd be like, we're trending that way.
Yeah.
Parramatta, we're trending that way. Everyone else is trending up. But I just didn't like the shape that I've seen from the Sharks. Very one-dimensional, and just too reliant on Nico.
He's got his
All of it is Nico.
Even when they got back into the game, it was all Nico.
It was all Nico. Like if he's off, they're fucking done.
Well, even the last play when Will Kennedy gets the ball, and Will Kennedy's been great.
Will Kennedy's been years.
But like even when he gets the ball at the end, you like, we need Nico on the ball there because he instead of hands would have done.
Yeah.
They would have, if they had just shifted and gone hands, they would have scored on that edge. And he puts in a little kick and fucking Croaks dives on it, who was unreal as well.
Yeah.
And they just fall short. Would have been the greatest comeback in NRL history, 30 points.
And I did have the Sharks. I thought that would have been their game that they could come out.
Oh, Mystic Mace had a rough week. Let's go.
Terrible.
Let's go.
I think 3.
Did you go Dragons?
I think I went the Dragons and that's it.
So you went the Raiders? No. You got the Broncos. I missed on the Rabbitohs. You went Broncos.
Yeah,
you did. Titans versus Roosters. You went Roosters. I went Titans.
Yeah.
Knights versus Storm. We both went Storm.
I went Cows.
Cowboys. Yeah, we both went Cows. Panthers.
Dogs.
Yeah, Panthers. You got to go Dogs. Sharks versus Eagles. I went Bird Game. You went Sharks.
And it was a hard one because we said last week that their left edge could cost them the whole game.
Yeah, and they did.
And did 6 tries.
That was the way it panned out. So if you had a little bit on Oluquatu and you bounced back,
and we said Oluquatu and Kola were going to have a field day.
Anytime jam.
Anytime jam.
All right, see you on preview in a couple of days.
All right, see you guys.